Osiris.
Hey Sugar Maple listeners, it's RJ, one of the executive producers of the show. We hope you enjoyed this season. Feedback has been incredible, and we're excited to release the full Sugar Maple soundtrack this week. Check that out wherever you get your music. And thanks to our friends at Fiddlehead Brewing for sponsoring this special bonus episode. This episode is something really special. Over the past few weeks, my co-executive producer Tom Marshall and I were on the road in Nashville, Asheville, and Charlottesville, Virginia, hosting events that we call Osiris Live. Each show is a combination of conversation and music with a group of musicians or a band. In this episode, you're going to hear some of the live performances of Sugar Maple songs by these incredible musicians, and you're going to hear us talking to some of the musicians about Sugar Maple, and also about the mysterious instruments that inspired them to make music. A lot of these performances are the first time that any of these songs have been played live. And at the end of the episode, we'll reveal the Sugar Maple Fiddlehead Contest winner as well. But first, let's get into it with a live version of the song Two Arms to Hold On To, performed by Maggie Rose's band at the City Winery in Nashville, Tennessee.
I don't remember when, and it's hard to keep my roots deep down in solid ground, 'cause this cold wind just keeps blowing me around, and I get so tired pretending I don't know that you're the reason I can't grow. And finally I understand I should be moving on. I wanna fly high, but I gotta land. So just give me one place I can belong. Give me two arms I can hold on to.
So as you all know, sugar maple is all about this truly magical instrument that draws music out of all these different artists. It was the basis for the story, and it gave the musicians and writers that we worked with a lot of space to create music for the show. And one of the things that was really fun about this Osiris live tour that we went on was asking some of the musicians about their experiences with instruments that are similar to the stories that we heard in Sugar Maple. Here's Daniel Donato with his take on an instrument that's provided him with inspiration.
It's the Telecaster. That is a very fascinating guitar. And if you think about what creation is that there's kind of a transcendent trust in your intuition there. That's almost necessary if you want something that is very full of depth. And Leo Fender worked on radios, and he was more of an electrician than he was a luthier. But when he designed the first electric guitar, it was the Telecaster. And there's something that's just so amazingly American about it. And in its imperfections. There's the humanity within the imperfections that the instrument possesses. And the first time I ever played on stage was with a Telecaster. And I remember my dad he's from New Jersey, and there's a lot of rock and roll, and he wasn't really into Grateful Dead or anything like that. And and we were at Guitar Center one day. I'm like, what is that thing, man? And that's a Telecaster. You don't want that. It's like what country players play. But when I played it, my intuition and my soul was like, there is something here for you with this instrument. And, still to this day, I have the same seafoam green one I got when I was 16. And that is my muse. Like I am blindly monogamous with that guitar,
In Asheville, we had the privilege of having 3 truly stunning musicians play. Felix Pastorius played bass, Bob Lanzetti of Snarky Puppy played guitar, and Adam Chase of Jazz's Fish and a lot of other projects played drums. Here's me talking with Felix and Bob about what makes their instruments special.
Well, the instrument is literally just what it is, an instrument. You're connecting with somebody who's giving themselves, hopefully, to a moment and being honest with themselves as an artist. And the instrument is the vehicle, is the thing that you use to get from point A to point B. But what you're falling in love with is the artist itself. So...
Do you feel like with your many, many different basses, like do you turn to them for different purposes or are they?
Yes, each bass represents a certain vibe or a certain style or a certain headspace or a hat. I look at it as wearing different hats for different gigs. I grew up in a situation where I borrowed strings and used cables and amps from garage sales, and I didn't really have a pick of what I was playing. I just played whatever I had. So for the longest time, my main goal was to make sure that whatever I was going to do was always going to do it just on one instrument and not really rely on anything else, and not rely on effects, not rely on name brand anything, just do it. But over the years, becoming a professional musician, there are certain things that work very well in certain situations. So, it's nice to have a P bass, nice to have a 6-string, nice to have an upright. All the different things play a different role, and it's right.
That's amazing. Thank you, Bob. What about you? Do you have a specific thing that draws inspiration for you, or how do you see that?
I would definitely agree with what Felix said. First and foremost. I guess I would also say, though, that, if an instrument is, like, busted up, I like that the most in terms of composing, because it has, like, a vibe. Maybe it only does one thing well, but, like, it can really help spark an idea, like a busted up acoustic guitar or, So I kind of, if I happen to find an instrument like that, I love to, like, noodle around and see what comes of it,
Do you think it's because it feels like it has more experience?
I just think it has a sound and a personality that can spark the creativity in whoever's playing it.
Yeah.
It kind of draws something out of you.
On our last stop in Charlottesville, Virginia, we got to host an event with Kendall Street Company, a great band based down there. I asked them about this experience of having an instrument draw something out of them.
The only experience I can think of, like, in recent history about, like, an instrument none of us had played was when Ryan played the Omnichord at White Star, and I don't even know how to describe that instrument.
An Omnichord is it's this electronic instrument from the 80s made by Suzuki. That it's a very touch tone. You press the button for the key that you want, and then you can just tap on this interface, and it makes these little ethereal bloop bloops and stuff. And it was very fun that the drummer got to play the omnichord, and yeah, it inspired the song that we wrote at like 2 a.m. called Home and Garden. That was on this album that we put out last summer.
So we're going to stay here in Charlottesville for a minute, and I'm really excited to share a version of the song Lonesome Train from episode 2 of Sugar Maple that was played live by Kendall Street Company during our show there. We hope you enjoy it.
1, 2. I'm on my way, I hope to find cigarettes and outcasts that I just left behind. Didn't have much luck, cards, oh girl. So now I'll just relax and count on these tracks to take me to a whole new world. In every town, when that whistle blows, I'll plant a seed, hope that it grows. I'll sing my songs and make some new friends. I'll jump back on that lonesome train again. Hey! It's always clear when I should go. It all depends on my new friends. If I lead fast or slow, and I'll pop a lag, pack I'll hurl. I'm just about baby down, it'll take me to a whole new world. In every town, when that whistle blows, I'll plant the seed, hope that it grows. I'll sing my songs, make some new friends, and I'll jump back on that lonesome train again. I know I'll jump back on that lonesome train again. Oh yeah, I'm gonna jump back on that lonesome train again.
So you probably remember the character Belinda Rose, who was in episode 5 and made another appearance in episode 8. She was played by Maggie Rose, who you're probably familiar with. Maggie has a podcast with Osiris called Salute the Songbird, and I want to share a brief snippet of the conversation between Maggie and Tom Marshall from our Nashville show. First, you'll hear them talk about Maggie's songwriting and her new album, and then they'll talk a little bit about Sugar Maple.
I was looking at your pattern of albums and doing very simple math. Change the Whole Thing came out in 2018, and Have a Seat came out in 2021. So without a calculator, are you coming out with a new album in 2024?
No, I'm a little bit of a smaller increment of time between Have a Seat and my next project. In fact, I was in the studio today beginning to cut my forthcoming record.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Beginning to cut, that implies you have a whole lot of songs.
I do. I have a lot of songs. I've sifted through about 40 songs. I'm not as ambitious as Katie, writing one song a day, but I think with Have a Seat and the pandemic, a lot of those songs had been sort of sitting around for a while. They had definitely evolved and gleaned more meaning as we went through what we went through. Some of those songs I had written before the pandemic, and then they just became more significant. So I feel like I've been ready to go ahead and pursue this next record because, to me, I've been chomping at the bit for a while.
Absolutely. Well, you've been touring it, and I got to know your band when you came by New Jersey. I got to meet them and again meet them here. It seems like you've pared it down a tiny bit.
Yes, yeah, we have 5 people, including myself. And, we are all over the country coming up this summer. We have been out on the road since March, which is just incredible given, how difficult that was to do in 2020 and even 2021. But there are, it's such a full sound. We have Caitlin on keys, I have Judd Fuller on bass, Taylor Jones on drums, Kyle Lewis on guitar. And it's also forcing me to pick up some of those roles as not just a singer, but as a musician too.
They all sing very well.
They do.
By the way, and I noticed it firsthand when they were doing harmonies backstage just then, and it's absolutely beautiful. You have a really cool band.
It's hard to not have them sing harmonies on everything. We could be ABBA by the time this is all over, but they're fantastic.
We were incredibly honored to have Maggie write a song for our podcast that RJ mentioned a couple times so far called Sugar Maple. So our company, Osiris, we do a lot of music podcasts, but Sugar Maple is our first fiction podcast. And there was an episode that called for a country song, and it took place in Nashville in 1975. Mm-hmm. And we asked Maggie to write it, and to our honor, she said yes.
I was very honored.
Just for coincidence's sake to mention it, Maggie was in an episode, as I said, that took place 1975, and the main star of that particular episode is a character called Belinda Rose, and we had written it before we knew Maggie was going to be involved at all with the episode, and then to our incredible delight, she asked, could she audition for the role of Belinda Rose? So not only did Maggie Rose play Belinda Rose, but in the episode, the character writes the song, Two Arms to Hold On To, and dreams and hopes that she can one day play it at the Opry, Grand Ole Opry, and tell us how that also merged with reality.
I had the opportunity to debut this song at the Opry a couple weeks ago, and it was the day before Sugar Maple's first episode came out. And I feel like I got to give Belinda her dream of playing her song at the Grand Ole Opry. But it was hard to explain to the audience that Belinda wasn't related to me and what was going on, but I know that Belinda is somewhere out there. And we played it again just the other week. So she's had 2 rounds at the Opry.
One of the other really special things that happened at this Nashville show was that we got to hear the premiere live version of the song Sugar Fly Soul from episode 3. This was performed by Maggie Rose's band, but it features a special guest, Kim Fleming, on vocals. It's really incredible, and we hope you enjoy it.
You to know my love was a tiny seed, and now it's starting to grow. your sugar pie soul. Sugar pie soul. I'll never be the same. I wanna tell you the reason why I'm spinning out of control. The earth is lonely place where you walk all right. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm spinning out of control. The earth is lonely place where you walk all right. Oh, just let the pie
Okay, so before we wrap up, we're going to announce our Sugar Maple Fiddlehead contest winner. We hope you've heard about Fiddlehead Brewing by now. They're an amazing brewery based in Shelburne, Vermont. We partnered with them on a lot of projects, and we love their beer, and we also love the fact that they're big music fans. One of the things they do is they print song names, lyrics, and other things on the bottom of their cans. And over the past few months, they've had Sugar Maple printed on the bottom of some of their cans. We asked listeners to send a photo of themselves with one of the cans, and we'd choose a winner. So congrats to Ari Dublion, our winner, who will get a Sugar Maple poster, which is designed by Ryan Kerrigan and signed by Tom Marshall. Ari is the host of the show, The Powtown Get Down, which airs Sundays at 6 Eastern on Jemp Radio, which you can check out at jempradio.com. Congrats, Ari. And please check out all of the amazing posters that Ryan Kerrigan created for Sugar Maple at sugarmapleart.com. They're going fast, so check them out now. And that's going to do it for this special episode of Sugar Maple. Please share the show, leave reviews, and help us get the word out, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.